Well, you can see in that photo, there's photographs of women. And so we learned after releasing that photograph that there were concerns about those women and the fact that we had put that photo up. So we pulled that photo down. It has nothing to do with President Trump. There are dozens of photos of President Trump already released to the public seeing him with Mr. Epstein. He has said that in the 90s and early 2000s, he socialized with him. So the absurdity of us pulling down a photo, a single photo, because President Trump was in it, is laughable. And the fact that everybody's trying to act like that's the case is a reflection of their true motivation.
On Friday, the Justice Department released just a fraction of the overall Epstein files. Why didn't the Justice Department meet that Friday deadline?
Good morning. So it's very simple and very clear. The statute also requires us to protect victims. And so the reason why we are still reviewing documents and still continuing our process is simply that, to protect victims. So the same individuals that are out there complaining about the lack of documents that were produced on Friday are the same individuals who apparently don't want us to protect victims. Well, you can see in that photo, there's photographs of women. And so we learned after releasing that photograph that there were concerns about those women and the fact that we had put that photo up. So we pulled that photo down. It has nothing to do with President Trump. There are dozens of photos of President Trump already released to the public seeing him with Mr. Epstein. He has said that in the 90s and early 2000s, he socialized with him. So the absurdity of us pulling down a photo, a single photo, because President Trump was in it, is laughable. And the fact that everybody's trying to act like that's the case is a reflection of their true motivation.
They say they are considering looking into the possibility of impeachment proceedings, contempt, even criminal referrals for obstruction of justice for DOJ officials. Do you take these threats seriously?
Not even a little bit. Bring it on. We are doing everything we're supposed to be doing to comply with this statute. And Congressman Massey and these other congressmen that are coming out speaking negatively about Director Patel and the Attorney General have no idea what they're talking about.
Just a week later, Maxwell was moved to a more permissive prison camp in Texas. Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prison Security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to. But just let me talk about the security issue. At the time that I met Ms. Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her, and the institution she was in, she was suffering numerous threats against her life. So the BOP is not only responsible for putting people in jail and making sure they stay in jail, but also for their safety. So the answer is, I don't know whether there'll be additional prosecutions. Based on the information that we had in July, based upon the information that I'm aware of now, we are not prepared to bring charges against anybody, but we are learning new information all the time. We learned the names of additional victims as recently as Wednesday of this week. Okay, so there's new names that we didn't have before that we ran across our database to understand whether they had ever met with law enforcement or ever talked to the FBI. And so we're always investigating.
A newly released trove of Jeffrey Epstein files was meant to bring long-promised transparency. Instead, it has triggered fresh suspicion. Within hours of going public, key documents, including a photo showing President Donald Trump, vanished from the Justice Department's website. Now, the DOJ is defending the removals. Lawmakers are threatening legal action, and the Epstein files have once again ignited a political firestorm in Washington. Files go live, then disappear. On Friday, the Justice Department released thousands of Epstein-related documents under a congressional mandate. The material included flight logs, surveillance footage from the prison where Epstein died in 2019, and interview transcripts with Ghislaine Maxwell. But by Saturday, reporters noticed something missing. According to the Associated Press, CBS News, and the New York Times, at least 15 to 16 files that were accessible Friday were no longer available the next day. Among them, a photograph showing Donald Trump with his wife Melania, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. The Trump photo controversy. One of the removed images reportedly showed a desk and drawers filled with photographs, including images of Trump and former President Bill Clinton. Another photo, according to NBC News, showed Trump pictured with women, including at least one wearing a bikini. The sudden disappearance fueled accusations that the Justice Department was selectively withholding material, particularly content involving President Trump. The backlash was immediate. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche addressed the controversy Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press. He dismissed claims of political motivation as, quote, laughable. Blanche said the files were removed not because of President Trump, but because the images also contained Epstein's victims. He insisted the documents would be reposted after redactions. It has nothing to do with President Trump, Blanche said, adding that dozens of photos showing Trump with Epstein are already public. Democratic lawmakers aren't satisfied. House oversight members demanded answers from Attorney General Pam Bondi, asking, quote, what else is being covered up? Congressman Ro Khanna said he and Republican Thomas Massie were exploring all options, including inherent contempt, prosecution referrals, or impeachment of Justice Department officials. Blanche also defended another controversial decision, the transfer of Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security prison shortly after he interviewed her. He said the move was made due to credible threats against her life. The Bureau of Prisons is responsible not just for custody, but for safety. The explanation has only added to scrutiny around how the Epstein case continues to be handled years after his death.
At least 16 Epstein files have suddenly disappeared from the U.S. Justice Department's website. Gone, without explanation. And among the missing material, a photo file containing images of President Donald Trump. The files were part of the DOJ's newly unveiled Epstein library, released to the public on Friday. By Saturday, they were no longer there. No announcement, no clarification, no public explanation from the Justice Department. Before the rollout, the DOJ warned that if any released files contain non-public personal information or sensitive sexual content, the public should alert officials so corrections could be made. But whether that policy triggered these removals remains unclear. What is clear, powerful names were involved. Attorney Gloria Allred, appearing on CNN, revealed that people had contacted her saying their names never should have appeared in the files. Her legal team immediately reached out to the Justice Department. She says DOJ told them those names would be redacted. Shortly after, entire files vanished. According to the Associated Press, the missing material includes images of nude paintings and photographs of a desk with open drawers, photos that were publicly accessible just one day earlier. One of those desk photos contained two images featuring President Donald Trump. The first, Trump surrounded by women in bathing suits. The second, partially covered, shows Trump alongside First Lady Melania Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, photographed in the year 2000. That image is now gone. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee wasted no time sounding the alarm. In a public post on X, they stated that File 468, the Trump-related image, had apparently been removed from the DOJ release. They directly challenged Attorney General Pam Bondi. Is this true? What else is being covered up? Where is the transparency promised to the American public? The controversy is fueling a broader backlash. Lawmakers across party lines say the Epstein release is heavily redacted, selective, and deeply incomplete. Photos that remain public show Epstein with a long list of high-profile figures: former President Bill Clinton, actors Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker, musicians Mick Jagger, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, and legendary broadcaster Walter Cronkite. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says more files will be released in the coming weeks, citing delays caused by the need to redact identifying information. But questions are growing louder. Why were files posted, then pulled? Who made the call to remove them? And how many more documents could quietly disappear? The Epstein files were billed as a moment of transparency. Instead, they have become a new flashpoint, raising doubts about what the government knows, what it's withholding, and who is being protected. For now, the files are missing, and so are the answers.